Yes, some exciting action from the NEC Hall there where boxing is taking place. It's the same complex that has the netball, obviously in a different hall though, and we'll see what happens there. The netball match between South Africa and Barbados is coming up within the next half an hour or so. The St. Lucian Keegan Motley is also scheduled to be boxing within the next half an hour or so as well. So we will see how we will present those two events. Barbados up against South Africa in netball, and Keegan Motley from St. Lucia. He is a middleweight boxer getting ready, or a light middleweight boxer getting ready to battle Sam Hickey of Scotland. There was some exciting action in the swimming pool this morning where the Trinidadian Dylan Carter qualified for the semi-finals of the men's 50-meter backstroke, along with the Bahamian Devante Carey, and there was also a qualification as well for the Bermudan Maddie Moore in the women's 50 fly. There is heat 4 of the men's 50-meter backstroke going on, and let's join the commentary now with Devante Carey from the Bahamas and Dylan Carter of Trinidad and Tobago in action.
Using that speed here this morning.
Well, as we're blanket finish, but Lane Ford does take it. Andrew Jeffcoat from fast finishing Liam White of Wales. Third place going to Bradley Woodward, and after that great start, Dylan Carter actually faded a little bit into 5th place. Just checking on, just a PB for Liam White by 1/100th of a second. It was 25.31, now 25.30, but Jeffcoat is our winner at 25.04. So a new personal best this year of 24.8. So he is capable of going sub 25, and he might do that if he makes and should make.
Yes, so Dylan Carter 5th and Devante Carey 6th, 25.81 and 25.86. They were 15th and 16th fastest qualifiers overall in the men's 50-meter backstroke. I can tell you that the South African Peter Kotze was the fastest of the men's backstroke qualifiers for the semi-finals later on this evening. He clocked a time of 24.95, which was significantly faster than anyone else in the men's 50-meter backstroke. So Devante Carey of the Bahamas and Dylan Carter of Trinidad and Tobago both through to the semi-finals of the men's 50-meter backstroke, which we saw earlier on this morning in our broadcast. The women's 50-meter fly included quite a few Caribbean entries as well. And let's watch Heat 5 now, where Bermuda's Maddie Moore was in action, and she also made the semis.
Larry Jones of Wales has a very good start. Just trying to match Maggie McNeil. This will be the weakest event of the lot for Maggie McNeil, but it doesn't look very weak at the moment, does it? No. She's powering on. Yeah, exactly. She's actually only just been under sub 26 for the first time this year at the Mare Nostrums in Cannes, and she do it again this morning, just on the outside of it. But she doesn't need to be going super quick. She'll be needing to do just enough to make it back. Heavy schedule last night. She's going to have to go through the semi-finals and hopefully onto the finals, more relays. So 26.24 is relatively comfortable for her. Yeah, no worries with progression on that one. Top 16, remember, for the semi-finals. Final takes place tomorrow night.
Yes, so Margaret McNeil, 26.24, winning that heat. And Maddie Moore from Bermuda, 27.33. She was 6th, and she qualifies Maddie Moore for the semi-finals. And that will be coming up later on this evening. And Margaret McNeil, by the way, was actually the quickest qualifier with her 26.24 clocking going into the semi-final. And Maddie Moore among the fastest also into the semi-finals of the women's 50-meter butterfly. I can tell you as well that in the men's freestyle for 100 meters, the Canadian, impressive Canadian, his name is Joshua Leendo Edwards. He is a Canadian that has Trinidad and Tobago parents, and he actually lived in Trinidad and Tobago early in his life. His parents had gone back to TNT when he was just a toddler, and he lived there until he was 9 years old. Actually learned to swim in TNT, and he was very impressive, the fastest of the 100-meter freestyle qualifiers for the semi-finals later on. And he is actually the first black Canadian to win a medal at a global event. He's a multiple world championship medalist. He has already won 2 medals at the Commonwealth Games in the mixed relay and the freestyle relay as well. And Joshua Leendo Edwards comes into the final or the semi-finals later on of the 100 free as one of the favorites for the gold medal. And let's go to some cycling now. We saw the 15K scratch, and there was some men's sprint action earlier on. Nicholas Paul, the TNT gold medalist from the Keyran, was involved in. And the 15K scratch, though, saw quite a few Caribbean entries there. Jaime Bridges and Akil Campbell from Trinidad and Tobago in the first heat. And in the second heat, we had Red Walters from Grenada and the Barbadian Jamal Eastman as well. Let's catch the action now in qualifying series 1, where Bridges from Antigua and Akil Campbell of Trinidad and Tobago were involved. We don't have that to present for you now, but I can tell you that Akil did qualify for the final. Akil Campbell actually fell during the race, but got himself up, got back into the race and qualified, I think, in 10th position or so. The second qualifying series, though, included Red Walters of Grenada and Jamal Eastman of Barbados, and that event was full of drama as well. There was a crash and quite a few fallers there, but at the end of it all, Red Walters of Grenada was actually able to qualify.
Horrible crash. Half the field is down, the race has stopped. The runner actually went over the banking and into the crowd, into the seating, into the spectators there. Shocking crash again on the same banking as we saw yesterday, involving many more riders though. Matt Bostock is down, other riders picking themselves up. The Barbadian rider I can see there, Jamal Eastman, is alright. Bostock is down.
Yeah, so Jamal Eastman was one of the fallers in that qualifying series for the 15K scratch, and as a result he wasn't able to advance, but Red Walters from Grenada actually made it through. I think he was number 2 on the list in qualifying. So he, along with Akil Campbell from Trinidad and Tobago, have advanced in the 15K scratch. Nicholas Paul now, the man of the moment for Trinidad and Tobago, having won gold in the Keyrin on Saturday afternoon, competed this morning in the men's sprint. In the prelims, he actually had a Games record time of 9.445 in the prelims, went through to the quarterfinals and was impressive as he looks for a second gold medal.
Decides to use the Barney Story tactic, albeit a little bit late. Almost gets the gap on Nicholas Paul, and he's got the advantage. A long way to go though. He's only now going to hear the bell. Still got 250 metres to go. Nicholas Paul comes up on his wheel. Nicholas Paul comes alongside him. This is where Paul still has so much left to give. Takes Donna Gibbs to home straight, eases past for the line with a minimum of extra energy expended. Nicholas Paul progresses from the quarterfinals with almost embarrassing ease. He's got so much more to give. He did all that he had to do, but no more, and that's the difference.
Yeah, well, the commentator said it all. I told you how impressive he was, and embarrassing ease, the words of the commentator there, as he won that round of 16 or a quarterfinal right off, and was very, very impressive, Nicholas Paul. And on current form, he looks really good for double gold, having won the Keyrin on yesterday's program. So the men's sprint, the semi-finals will come up later on as Nicholas Paul tries to edge closer to a gold medal. And as we had mentioned, in the 15K scratch, which we saw earlier on, the Trinidadian Akil Campbell and Red Walters of Grenada are the 2 Caribbean riders through to the semi-finals of the 15K scratch event. We have Ricardo Chambers. He's in pole position, might we say, the NEC Centre, where there's a lot of great action going on. The boxing is happening at the NEC Centre, and obviously on a different hall, the netball is also on, and Barbados getting ready to battle South Africa in the second game for the Barbadians in their group at the netball competition at the Commonwealth Games, Birmingham City 2022. Ricardo, great to have you here on day 3 of competition. We've already seen some exciting action, and let me hold that. We'll take a break, and then when we come back, we talk to Ricardo Chambers live in Birmingham City as we continue our coverage of day 3 of the Commonwealth Games 2022. Before I go to the Lyndon Victor feature, I'm not going to talk much with him before I go to the Lyndon. How long you want me to talk to him before I go to the feature? Okay, so why are we welcoming him first then if we're not going to really stay with him? All right, yeah. Welcome back to Commonwealth Today. It's coverage of Birmingham 2022. It's the Commonwealth Games for this year, and a fabulous edition of the Commonwealth Games so far. The last one, of course, 2018 in Australia, before that 2014 in Glasgow, and in 2010 the edition of the Commonwealth Games was staged in Delhi in India. We have Ricardo Chambers in Birmingham City. He is actually just outside the NEC Centre at the moment, which is the venue that has netball and boxing, 2 events that are currently on. In fact, netball coming up, Barbados against South Africa within the next half an hour, and there's boxing ongoing at the NEC Hall as well. Ricardo, great to have you on coverage here for day 3. Lots of exciting action so far, but of course Caribbean fans, Trinidad and Tobago fans in particular, still celebrating Nicholas Paul's gold medal and the Keirin on Saturday, and of course how well he's positioning himself for another gold in the men's sprint. He's done well.
Well, thank you very much, Lance. I tell you what, when Nicholas Paul was winning that event yesterday, I was actually inside the media center at the swimming facility. That's the Sandwell Aquatic Center. And I was jumping up and down inside the Sandwell Aquatic Center as he took control of that race and dominated over the last lap and a half. It was a marvelous performance. He came into the Commonwealth Games expecting to win, but I'm not sure I expected him to be as dominant as he was. It was a fabulous performance. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Unfortunately, the cycling event is taking place in London, which is about 4 or 5 hours away from where we are in Birmingham. Of course, it's taking place at Lee Valley. That's the Olympic Velodrome, where, of course, the London 2012 Olympic Games took place. So we are some way away from that. We will endeavour to get out there sometime this week to catch up with Nicholas Paul, who is having such an outstanding Commonwealth Games so far. Now, you spoke about me being at the NEC, the National Exhibition Centre, and the different halls and sports that are contested here. Well, where we're coming from, you have the boxing, the weightlifting, badminton, and the table tennis. And we're headed to the netball, which is probably about 800 meters away at a completely different hall, but on the same complex.
Yes.
We're somewhere in the middle of that, and this area is called the fan zone. And my videographer will give you a look at what the fan zone looks like, because what you have are spectators who come here. They have a big screen to watch different events. They have a host who guides them through those events, and they also have areas where they can go and get food. It's a lovely grassed area with lovely seating. And I tell you what, if you can't get inside any of the halls, or if you feel as if the halls are a little bit too hot, this is a wonderful space to come and enjoy the Commonwealth Games. And as you just saw, a lot of fans have come out and they are thoroughly enjoyed. For the first time since we have arrived in Birmingham, we've actually seen genuine sunshine. And you might ask what I mean by genuine sunshine. I probably should say prolonged sunshine It's a beautiful day. Absolutely love it today. I can't say I've loved other days in terms of the weather, but today is absolutely gorgeous, Lance.
Yeah, well, you're in England, Ricardo, so you know you've got to brace yourself for predominantly gloomy weather. Nothing gloomy about the Grenadian brothers, Lyndon Victor and Kurt Felix, who will be competing in the decathlon, two world-rated performers. And here's Ricardo's chat with them in the past 48 hours.
Hi, welcome to SportsMax, and this is Lyndon Victor, and I am here with Grenadian decathlete Kurt Felix, big brother, son of Finn. Kurt, how does it feel to be at, what is this, your fourth Commonwealth Games?
Yes.
Dang, fourth for real? How does it feel to be at your fourth Commonwealth Games?
It feels good, you know, kind of feels like home now. It's always good to come out here and represent Grenada, you know, and have fun, meet new friends and make new friends along the way.
So, Kurt, we have missed you from international competition for a while. What can you, the Grenadian public, expect from you at this competition?
Well, I'm going to come out here and do my best, you know. Like you said, I've been missing for a while. It's been really hard trying to watch from home and not being there. You know, as a competitor, you always want to be out there on the field,
Yes.
competing, you know, so coming back and being on the field again is really good.
How is the body feeling from the mishaps that you have in the last couple of years?
I feel really good. You know, not being able to compete the past few years, I'm not putting too much pressure on myself, but to go out there and have fun. And I think that's when I compete at my best. So there's not too much pressure on me, but there's also pressure to come out here because you always want to win a medal.
Yes.
But the medal will come with the performances. So, Mr. Victor, how does it feel to be here competing at another Commonwealth Games?
Well, I must say that I actually miss competing with you, my older brother, you know. It's always fun when I get to compete with you. So another Commonwealth Games. I'm trying my best to defend my title, but I know like they're really good guys competing, so I have to be on my A game. I know you're competing, the other Aussie guys are competing, so it's not going to be easy. But you know, like you said, I think I compete my best when I have fun. So, and I get to do it with you, so it's a plus.
10 days from World Championship. How do you manage that?
Yeah, 10 days from the World Championships. I try to rest up as much as I can and try to bank on the training that I've done in the last few months and hoping that it will come through for me, you know. Try to hydrate as much as I can, stretch as much as I can, and, you know, like I said, just trust in what I've done over the last couple months and compete and have fun, yeah.
What do you enjoy the most about Commonwealth Games and competitions like this?
Well, I think the unique thing about the Commonwealth Games is the atmosphere, you know. It's kind of like the closest thing you get to the Olympics. You get to see all the different athletes. You get to see athletes from different sizes, heights, age, you know, and everybody's really good to be here. So I think that's one of the most unique things about the Commonwealth Games, and like, you know, there are different athletes from all over the world, and you can be a Commonwealth gold medalist and be 6'9", or you can be 5'9", you know. So I think just being around all these great athletes, you know, gets me excited.
So how do you prepare over the next few days, you know, to compete again?
Just do whatever coach puts on the paper.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not my job to worry about that. I just do whatever he puts on the paper, and yeah, trust what he has. So,
ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, Lyndon Victor from Grenada.
Yeah, those two would have enjoyed themselves with that little chat. Two brothers, a really great story there of two world-class decathletes competing at the global level for several years now. Lyndon Victor, not so successful at the Oregon World Championship last week, when he was outside of the top flight, but had a tough time against a very, very tough field, we might add. Ricardo Chambers, an ace track and field expert, would have studied Lyndon Victor's track in the Oregon World Championship in Eugene in the past couple of weeks. And also Kurt Felix, his brother, who had done very well at regional events, Pan American Games and Commonwealth Games in the past. And Ricardo really anxious to see how these two will perform as brothers at the Commonwealth Games. Of course, Victor, the defending champion, and going for gold again.
Yeah, you're very much right, Lance. In 2014, Kurt Felix took the bronze medal in the decathlon. In 2018, his brother Lyndon Victor won the gold medal and comes in as the defending champion. I tell you something that's quite interesting. You listened to that interview and you heard Lyndon Victor saying how much he enjoys competing with his brother, with his older brother. And interestingly, when I approached them asking for the interview, I actually asked Lyndon Victor. Kurt was beside him. He was almost a little bit hesitant at first. And then Kurt Felix said, yes, fine. And then immediately he responded and said, yeah, sure, no problem. He really, and you can pick it up, he adores his older brother, Kurt Felix. And I think that came out in the interview as well. And when I sat there as well and watched the interview, so initially, I told them that I would have them interview themselves. Well, actually, I think it was Kurt's idea for them to interview themselves. And then I told them when they were finished, I would have a few questions to ask as well. And by the time they were finished, I had absolutely nothing to ask. It was as if they had done this so many times in their backyard somewhere in Grenada or in their room at the other major events that they have attended together. It was a delightful watch, and I hope that the Caribbean enjoyed that piece as much as I did.
Yeah, and of course they would have enjoyed Red Walters in the 15K scratch cycling event. The Grenadians having a good moment here on SportsMax as we just saw Kurt Felix and Lyndon Victor. And as I said, Red Walters did well in the 15K scratch qualifying about a couple of hours ago, maybe an hour and a half ago. If that long, and he has advanced to the next stage of the 15K scratch. But we are getting ready. 800 meters, you say, Ricardo, from the netball, where the Barbadians, having lost heavily in their opening game against the Aussies, will be in action here against the South Africa team that are pretty strong, number 5 in the world. How are the Barbadians shaping up for that? May they improve.
It's going to be another very tough match, Lance, because South Africa is really good. And I think it was testament to the quality of the Sunshine Girls that they were able to blow the South Africans away. And I think, as you rightly pointed out earlier today, the Jamaicans took their feet off the gas in the closing stages of that match. It's going to be a tough one for Barbados. They lost to Australia in their opening match. That was expected, and I think for them, they want to do as much damage control as possible in this South Africa game, because South Africa will be coming really hard after the big defeat to Jamaica yesterday. You expect the intensity of the South Africans to be really up, and I think it's going to be difficult for the Barbadians to stay with them, but you hope there will be enough damage control and they can limit the margin that the South Africans win by in that encounter.
Ricardo, always great talking to you here in the SportsMax family of broadcasters covering the Commonwealth Games for 2022. We'll be in touch throughout the day. Ricardo Chambers there giving us a live report from outside the NEC Centre.
Thank you very much, Lance. I'm looking forward to chatting to you again.
Yeah, no problem. And we are getting ready to go to... Yes, some exciting action from the NEC Hall there where boxing is taking place. It's the same complex that has the netball, obviously in a different hall